All right, here we go, guys. Going live. Guys, what's up? It is Christian Martinez with Super Trucker Podcast. Um, as you can see from the title, we got some exciting news. It's coming up on December 4th. So, the DOT coach from Trucking Wins, John Cito, will be with us live and direct. And the beauty about this, my people, he's here to answer any kind of questions. But for those who don't know who this guy is, basically, here's why he is a pillar in the trucking industry. So basically, he's one of the top compliance and operations guys in the industry. Man, he really helps. He helps people get DOT ready for audits. Clean up the books, survive the audits, lower insurance costs, run a lot tighter, and basically become profitable. And the way he does that is, guys, he's an individual who started off as a DOT officer, so he's got that field experience, and then he transitioned into the insurance realm, and so he's a very, very well-rounded individual who has helped several carriers get through very dark and tough times. And how does he do that? Because my man knows this bad boy in and out. And so by knowing this and knowing the rules of the game, he knows how to play the game. And so what we're actually going to do, because this show is about getting the right information in front of the right people, we're here to educate. Whether we agree with these rules or don't agree with the rules, we just got to know how to navigate in there. And sometimes that requires reading between the lines so we don't say too much. And here we go. So that's why this day is going to be very, very important for all of you guys, because you can line up all your questions and get them answered on that live. So mark that down, guys. Mark it on the calendar. December 4th. That is the day that we will be going live with John. All right. So whether you're a brand new, and the beauty about this too, guys, so there's no question too small, and there's going to be no question too big. So if you actually check him out, so you get yourself a little bit more familiar with who he is and what his work entails, head over to check out his YouTube channel, Trucking Wins. And what you're going to notice there, you're gonna notice everything from teaching an individual how to do a proper split, because people have questions, right? All the way to insurance shopping. So knowing what markets to shop around in, how to do it, how many agents you should have, how you should be talking to your agent, surviving your first DOT audit. So for those first-time owner operators who are buying that truck, or those guys who are actually venturing off into doing your own authority and all of that good stuff, this is where you want to be. He has a very, very good thing going here, man. It's a lot of education. He's not going to do it for you, though. You got to do the work. He just tells you how to get it done, and it's up to you to make sure that you're getting this stuff done. So again, the reason that this is so important to us is because it's a way, it's a channel, it's an avenue for you guys to get answers, right? So we believe in facts. We believe in making you independent owner operators stronger through that education. So this is where you can bring up your questions, because what we find oftentimes is we start giving advice to each other, but not everybody necessarily knows exactly what the real answer is. It's kind of like that old school game of playing telephone. It kind of gets morphed from one person to the next, to the next, to the next. And by the time, let's say, that answer reaches you, a lot of what's basically going to happen is you get the watered down version of the answer tailored to that individual that is in that current situation, because I do think that matters. And John will speak on that every situation is a little bit different, so your answers have to be tailored a little bit different, right? And we're talking complex questions. We're talking for those fleet owners who have insurance questions, who are about to step into their re-upping on the insurance, how to actually navigate that. We're also talking to the guys who are actually getting started. And if you have questions on how you should get started, as far as insurance goes, where are good markets to be and not good markets to do this? How should you structure yourself? Every question is valid. Every question should be answered. So guys, we're excited about that. prep your questions. John Cedal on December 4th. He'll be here live with Super Trucker Podcast, Voyager Nation. And the reason that this holds value is because improving your business comes from being profitable. And one of the most expensive parts of running your own business, for those who don't know and will find out, is the insurance portion, right? So if there's anything that you can do to control your cost, that's where it begins. And the beauty about it, he's going to let us know what kind of tools are effective, what really moves the needle, what doesn't move the needle, and he has a real understanding of how this trucking industry works as far as how to be profitable and how to generate that revenue, right? So interesting individual. Please check him out. Trucking Wins on YouTube. Check that out. Plenty of videos that he has there that kind of give you an idea of who he is and what kind of questions he can answer for you. So we do need you to join us on December 4th, guys. Put that on the calendar, and he will be here. So with no further ado, we'll get with the show. So please line up. Please get ready. Bring those questions so we can really make the experience for you guys tangible, so that everybody is benefiting from this interview. So we don't get a lot of guests here, but when we do, we want to make it count. So guys, that's why I'm giving you that heads up. Line up your questions. Nothing too small, nothing too big. Let's go ahead and take advantage of this and put my man on the hot seat, if you will. All right, guys, like, share, subscribe. Make sure you smash that like button. Help us get this algorithm going so this content gets in front of the right people. And this is what this program is about: providing answers to the questions, but factual ones, right? The ones that are actually going to move the needle for you. It gives you clarity. It gives you a concrete answer. You don't end up in the vague and still trying to guess what's going to be happening. So, all right. So, and this kind of rolls into today's topic: becoming an owner operator, brokers fight over. So I think I just want to start with the word owner operator. There are a lot of guys in the industry on their first year out. I get it. There's a lot of ego, emotional pride in somebody buying a truck and becoming that owner operator for total freedom. However, we all answer to someone. We got a boss. And I get it. It's kind of like owner operator. I don't have a boss, but there are people you have to impress. There are people, there are some strings attached to that word, right? Because your customers are going to be some of these brokers. Now, I get it. Some people are going to be there. Hey, fuck that broker. He's not my customer, yada, yada. All right. But how do you do business is important, because you're in it, because you're probably in it to grow something. You're here to build something, just like a lot of the people we align ourselves with. A lot of our owner operators are here to build and get something out of this thing called trucking, right? And how do you do that? You want to build a rapport and a relationship, and you want to build a service level for your business to whoever you're dealing business with, whether it's the carrier because you're leased onto, right? That's one, and also the customer, shippers, receivers, and the brokers. How do you get these brokers to call you? It's going above and beyond, right? It's going to have to do everything with how do you stand out? How do you do something? How do you stand out from the rest of the pack, right? You do what everybody's too lazy to do. You do the work. And what I mean by that is, for example, even here at Voyager Nation, right? So it can be something as simplistic as when you're getting dispatched and you have to track, right? So what do we know, my people? We know that a lot of these brokers are just simply going to underpay you because you didn't track. They didn't really need you tracking probably, right? They just put that in there because they renegotiated. You may have negotiated $2,100 on that load from $1,800. Good job. Congratulations. But then it says right there, minus $250 for non-tracking. So guess what? You're not going to get a love letter. You're not going to get a reminder to track. That is their strategy to take that negotiation skill that you had right back in their favor. And you're not going to see it until you're underpaid right about 60 days later. And then good luck getting that money back. So what are the things that you can prevent? All right. So now let's say you guys are completing the load. Now sending a picture or proof of that tracking to your dispatcher. Dispatcher's actually letting that broker know, boom, are there any other issues? In that email, and say, here we go. And what are you doing? You're cutting them off at their legs. You're ensuring that it was tracked. So the owner operator is ensuring like, hey, I met that portion of the contract, right? But it doesn't end there. That's like, all right, 95% of the way there. But what you also want to continue doing is making sure that that broker gets there to avoid any kind of issues. Because even if later, there is an underpayment and you did track, at least you're avoiding that later because you're letting them know up front exactly what time it is and exactly what you did and why they should be paid in its entirety. So I get it. That's just one minute example of how that works, right? Even on delays, we get it. This is trucking. There's breakdowns. There's traffic. A lot of weather. There's so many things that can go wrong in this industry, and we understand that. Brokers understand that. But the key word is communication. And why do we communicate? Because most don't. Most people let this part slide. And when you stay on top of it, right, this is how you become that preferred carrier for people. Because what's going to happen, or even that dispatcher, you're going to be the preferred guy, right? You're going to be that guy that the dispatchers are fighting over. Right now, your business is that. It's not just because you bought a red Volvo and now everybody's excited for you. It's not just that. That isn't enough, my people. So you have to build your rapport. You have to build your business. And the way you're going to be doing that is exactly that, with that level of over communication. Because in that communication, your dispatcher, carrier, or even if you're doing it for yourself, the broker, you're giving them elbow room time in order to make arrangements. And everybody understands that things are going to go wrong, but when you have a little bit of time to actually address things and line them up in a better way for the best solution possible to the problem, what's happening is you're almost eliminating chaos, right? So now the chaos and the panic is out of the window, right? You're solving a problem. It's the exact same problem, but it feels like this problem is a lot more under control. And then that's the major difference. Because how many times just think about it. Imagine you're at the shipper picking up, and you're there for an hour only for your dispatcher to call you to say it was canceled, right? You feel like you wasted your time, deadhead miles, whatever the situation may be. All this time, all this effort, all this planning, whether you had to do a split last night to make it there on time. You had to travel a little bit further the night before just to make sure you're posted up properly. All that back office, if you will, all that back office work that you did to get to that point, right? Wasted effort just out the window. And just because this guy did not communicate to you differently, you could have did things different, where you would have stayed posted up last night where you were, knowing it was canceled, and then kind of redevise your plan from there. So it's just more efficient. It's not so much the cancellation that's the problem. It's more how they went about communicating the issue. So now, after saying that, that's what we're talking about. So let's switch that up a little bit. So let's say you're running late, right? And now a receiver or the broker is calling your dispatcher to let them know that you're not there, that you should have been there about 2 hours ago. So the damage that causes is not so much that you're late. No one's really upset about that part. What's really upset is the ill communication and the wasted effort and money into you moving. So imagine that, like, if you would have done it a little bit earlier, not a little bit earlier, like, when you were going to be late. If you would have done it at that point and communicated, what can be done on the other end would be the following, right? Not only can the customer be communicated to, the receiver, but also got you a new delivery window time, right? Something could have been negotiated with that dispatcher. At least that's how my guys are going to do it, right? So, hey, can we deliver at this time? Give me that appointment, revise Raycon, so that we can deliver there. And not only by knowing that, my guy still has work to do. We still have to salvage that reload. You still got to get up for pickup. So not only is that, now you got dispatch safety also looking at your hours of service. And the reason they're going to be looking for those hours of service is to make sure that we can make that pickup, legally and all that good stuff. So there are so many moving pieces behind the scene that it's just a way to to work with everybody who's involved. And in that, everybody could do their best work and get you to the destination and increase that revenue to you. Because that's, at the end of the day, it's about you being profitable. And I think a lot of times this kind of spirals out of control where, uh, you know, individuals, something happens, you didn't communicate, and now all of a sudden, you pumped it there and you made it there, the best you could. But when you fail to communicate, because nobody knew, the dispatchers, the brokers, everybody's hands are a little bit tied in regards to getting a solution. Now we're going to get to that solution. We're going to press, we're going to push. But the idea is, with more time available to the problem, then it's proactive rather than reactive. So that's the key to it. That's how you get this. And and for those guys who do it for themselves and are dealing with that specific broker, it's not enough that guy is handing you loads and that's it, and he's just dispatching you. Having one broker and you're getting like 80% of your loads to 90% of your loads from the one guy, that's kind of cool, but you got to be cautious. You got to be able to make sure you continue to have the discipline to shop around. Um, just because he makes it easy and convenient doesn't necessarily mean that that's the best option for you. So even that, when you're developing this relationship, that has to be introduced in a certain way where you're not burning a bridge. You know what I mean? You have to be able to play the game, to negotiate properly. We do talk about that all the time. Like, a really good dispatcher definitely has street smarts, that's for sure, and has the power of gab. Like, that power of gab is so monumental to your business. It's important to you. So while you're watching that, so consider this, right? You're trying to get with one of these big boys, and they're giving you the loads constant. He gives you a reload out of the same building, and shit sounds sweet. Can't get any better than that. But how do you know it's actually market rate? How do you know that's the best? Right? Unless you're searching, unless you're posting a truck, unless you're actually, moving your truck and offering your services to different brokers and building that relationship, you have to be able to do that in order to actually create value for yourself, right? Because then you're sought after. Now they're going to be calling you. So even that, imagine anybody out there doing that dedicated stuff, right? You'll have a house shipper usually, right? But for the most part, at least in my experience of doing this for 20 years, we've had the Lowe's accounts, we've had the Pepsi accounts, we've had Home Depots and all that good stuff. But guess what always happens? One carrier does not have it all, and the reason that happens is because they have to make sure. It's nothing to do with loyalty. It's got nothing to do with none of that. It's got to make sure that there's always got to be a natural competition for you to shine, for you to continue having the work. So now when they give you the on-time server performance, right, and you're not hitting your numbers, guess who's next to you? Your neighbor is the guy that fucking does the rest of their loads. And you may have 70% of it and he may have 30, and now they're going to give him 40 and you're down to 60. And guess what you're going to learn real quick? That you better get your service levels up. So, it really comes down to that, is just business. So guys, like, even with John coming on the show on December 4th, please mark your calendars, bring all kinds of questions to him. He's the guy that can answer them factual. Knowing how to navigate within these rules is what's so important. That's what's going to get you to the finish line. That's what's going to get you through those audits. Be very careful when you're accepting advice from just guys, at a truck stop, or somebody who's never been through an audit, both insurance audits and both DOT audits. Like, this is the guy to ask. I think he's using his information for good, where it's to educate you guys, us as owner operators, as carriers, as guys on this side of the fence, in order to be successful. But the beauty about it is, you can break down the formula for us, but it's up to us to do the work. And the work is actually, and it starts with this: go prep, go get your questions. Whether you had a bad inspection and you got questions on, can you data queue this? Give us the facts. What are the facts behind your actual inspection in order for him to tell you, yeah, you got a case, or it's emotional and you don't have a case. And it's not to disappoint anybody, but it's to realign yourself, so now you know exactly how to go to battle, right? You want to be able to be able to bring the right weapons so that you have a chance to win this. And when you swing for the fences, you want to make sure you have detailed facts so that you can make it count, right? So actually, it was interesting. As something as simple as, maybe it's worth mentioning here, was we were actually talking, and an individual from a different carrier had a question. He said, "Hey, man, and the reason this one hit home is because a lot of us are going through this right now, man. I got it right here on my whiteboard. You know, underpayments. Fuck, man, it's like it's a laundry list of underpayments. And so here's how we break it down, right? And when brokers are hurting, they're gonna look for any avenues to make money. And one of the easiest places to look is where this is basically right in the open, right? They're gonna look at the rate confirmations. So usually these things are about, let's say you were late, and you were late, bam, 250. Some people 500. That happened. That was actually one of the individuals who was on the Zoom yesterday, and he's a $500 fee for that. But guess what? He signed the rate con, and in the rate con, it doesn't say specifically how much, which actually gives him the open window to put whatever he wants. But you signed the rate con. So at the point of him signing that rate con, you agreed. So it's not an FMCSA type of thing. That almost ends up as a civil, if anything. And good luck. How much money are you going to be spending to actually get your 500 bucks back? So it gave the individual a new perspective, right? Maybe because he was in his feelings about it, because he did sign it, he did communicate, he did everything. But the art isn't so much to correct that behavior from the broker. They just line themselves up right, just like you should be lining yourself up right. So before taking that load, your better approach would have been, I need a revised Raycon. I need to know, listen, my guy's going to be there on time, but things can happen. But leaving that open, I cannot do that. I'm willing to part with $100 for being late. At least you would put a number there. You would know what the max is, and then you can go from there. But again, doing that homework, doing that, that's what's going to make you successful. Things like this is what's going to build the reputation for you as an owner operator to be able to be recession proof. And what does that mean? That doesn't just mean that you're immune to down markets and all of that. But here's what we talk about all the time: that markets are gonna go down. That's the nature of the beast. That's in everything that we do in business, my people. Whether it's the real estate industry, whether it's stocks, crypto, you name it, everything goes up and everything goes down. No one's gonna control that. So this hyper focus on attention to just always look for the carrier that has immunity to this type of shit is like, it's not going to be successful, right? So what can you do for yourself? That's what this is about. It starts with educating yourself with how this entire thing called trucking actually works. Not just delivering on time, and not just getting unloaded, and not just knowing the difference between a PACCAR engine and a Cummins engine and what gets better fuel mileage, but understanding the holistic thing of this animal called trucking is going to make you that much stronger. So with that said, you need to join us on December 4th. John will be answering all the questions that we present. So put them up in the comments, guys. Join us on that day. We will be marking that bad boy up as an event, but I think if you bring the right questions, we as a trucking community can actually get a lot of information that is going to help us all be better at what we do at this game called trucking. That's how he calls it. So All right, so here we go, guys. That's everything you have to pay attention to. Remember, building that reputation for yourself as a carrier, uh, as an owner operator, knowing actually how to make the moves properly so that you end up winning is so monumental to your business. And that's what it's about. So, guys, once again, December 4th. John Cito will be with us, the DOT coach from Trucking Wins. I'm actually excited about that. I have my own questions, but not to take up your time. I'll probably ask mine off air, and I'll probably present them up there so that you guys can actually probably see the answers to it. But again, we're here to help out. So this is one of the things that we can do for you guys as we're exciting. We were in the position to actually do this, and why not? So you can gain some benefit from what's about to happen on December 4th. Please bring your questions. Go check them out. It's Trucking Wins. Check out his YouTube channel. Get a little back history on my guy so that you can actually, bring the real questions, no matter how big or small. He's here to knock them out and give you exactly what you need to know so that you can be successful. As a matter of fact, he even has a website, the Trucking Wins. People pay for this. So people are signing up, all kinds of shapes and sizes, man. You got big boy fleets, I don't know what you call big boy fleets, but you can have people there from 3 trucks all the way to 70, 100 trucks. People are asking them tons of questions because guess what? Rules are the same no matter how many trucks you have. So learning how to navigate that, and for those who are learning how to navigate in these waters earlier, are prepping themselves for these for when they do get bigger, right? Because they got a plan, to grow. So coming up with a sustainable plan is the most important part to your business, right? You don't want to be this fly by night chameleon carrier, and gives you the beauty about this. Even if somebody is thinking about that, gives you the back from the insurance point of view of what these guys are looking at. So sometimes you think you're getting away with something. It's nothing that they're not allowing you to get away with for the moment. And can you really be stable and have a long-term business with being structured that way? And I think that is the major reason this interview is going to be so valuable. So we do need you guys to join us, guys. We will get more out of this. The more people participate, the more questions we have, the more the community, the trucking community, carriers, owner operators to be, will benefit from this segment. So I do encourage you guys, get your questions ready, mark your calendar. We will make an event for this, but we need you guys to join us. And it is. What is it? Today's Wednesday, right? So one of the things, guys, going back to basics here, I hope everybody's planning accordingly, getting the most money out of these holiday weeks as possible. I know it could get a little bit tricky, making sure that your dispatchers are calling shippers and receivers to make sure they're open. Plenty of our guys are going to just turn and burn it, and already planning it out for the Fridays. And you want to be if you're one of those individuals staying home till Monday or something crazy like that, at best, guys, you need to have that pre-booked already to get out of here. You don't want to be waiting for Monday morning and having a dispatcher looking for a load. You want to pre-book this and get out of here as quick as possible to get back into the race and have a healthy week next week. So all of that starts today. This holiday week throws a lot of businesses for the loop, although we do enjoy some family time, which is cool. But that does come at a price to business owners like yourself as owner operators. So planning accordingly is very, very important to your business. We do help with that. So if your company isn't currently aligned with that vision, we are here to help. 863-342-5171. Do give us a call. We're here to answer all kinds of questions. And for my first-time owner operators to be, 863-342-5171. Do give us a call. I do have something to touch on from yesterday, actually, because an individual was asking. So I don't know how many they have as far as the miles goes, but we did have a guy, Klein, who actually purchased a truck through Lone Mountain. For those who don't know, it is an international, and he did say within the first couple of weeks the clutch and transmission went, but they covered it. So not necessarily. How many do they have? Hold on one second for me. And the reason was, so they have 11 of these bad boys in stock. Um, and the reason I'm bringing it up is because somebody was asking about them. So yes, they're international LTs, 2-year unlimited mile bumper to bumper warranty. That's exactly the package that client got, and it worked out for him. The miles are under 350 or over 350. So they got 11 of those bad boys, uh, 6,000 down, and it gets you for 16.95 a month. So do go check those out. And the reason I'm saying that is because there were some of my people who were asking about extended warranties, third-party warranties, and so forth, and how much does that cost? And so here's an opportunity where everything is kind of baked in, and it's very reasonable on a monthly basis. They don't offer this warranty on a lot of the on all of their trucks. It's only a selective few. I think it depends on what fleet it came from, but again, you really can't beat this price. So you're buying the truck for 34 months, 16.95 a month, and that warranty is baked in. We know it works because one of our guys actually used it and he shared it with us. And so here's a winning formula. So I know they were asking me that question yesterday. So go check them out, Lone Mountain. 11 of those bad boys in stock. If you're ready to make that jump, go check that out. And let me see something real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of them are already reserved. So make sure you're jumping on that. And again, you don't necessarily have to use them. Just consider it. So if you are about to actually buy that warranty, that third-party warranty and the truck and all that good stuff, check them out. You probably want to make this phone call. And it's not necessarily that you have to use them, but at least you have a comparable to what type of deal you're working. How do you know you have a good deal versus you don't have a good deal? It's only by comparison. So the more you educate yourself, the better off you're going to be, my people. Again, this is what we do: is we talk trucking, we talk facts, we talk opportunities, we talk different resources that you can use. So if you're that first-time owner operator shopping around, these deals do come and go, but you might want to go check this out sooner than later, before these bad boys go off the shelf. I think that's really good miles. I don't know if you're going to get that, that kind of low miles in the next coming months. What do you guys think? Put that up in the comments. Let us know. But all right, that's what I got for today, my people. Once again, big announcement, December 4th, John Cedal from Trucking Wins, the DOT coach, will be here. He will give it to you straight. So check it out. His YouTube channel, Trucking Wins. Check him out. Check out his website. Get a little bit, so you get a kind of a feel of who the guy is, what he's capable of, and so that you can bring your questions and they can get answered. Guys, we need this event to be fruitful so that you guys can learn. The information is for you to be better, for you guys to be stronger, so you have a better chance at winning at this game called trucking. So 863-342-5171. Give us a call if you're that first-time owner operator. We even have a pretty good opportunity right now. We linked up with a fleet owner. He's doing very well, and one of the beauties about this program, he's actually looking for some drivers. So if you are not quite ready, just not quite ready to pull that trigger to become an operator, but you kind of want to experience what it would be like to do so, guys, we're here to coach and mentor. So this is what I got. You can basically, sign up for one of these trucks, and what he does, is put you in the truck. He pays percentage. Give us a call, get all the details, 863-342-5171. You'll get the details on that. But here's the beauty about it. You're actually going to get to work with a dispatcher that knows how to move an owner-operator truck. So in every step of the way, he's going to be, explaining why we're sending you to certain markets. What is the benefit of going here, going there, not going here, doing this? So you're exposing yourself to that. You're going to be exposed to original rate confirmations. You're going to be exposed to all of these, fuel cards that have the savings. Why? Because it matters. Your percentage is going to depend on everything affects your money, which is much like being an owner operator, right? Um, so that's the piece of it. And the peace of mind on this is that my guy actually has 2022s, 23s rider. These are all rider Penske trucks, and the Penske rider, one of the two. But anyway, so what this comes with is, any kind of breakdown is already handled. So this isn't your average, the truck broke down and he needs 2, 3 weeks to get you into a new one or to make the repair. And while those 2, 3 weeks are happening, you get to go home and sit on the couch until he's ready. He's ready for you again. No, you're eliminating all of that. And so the beauty about this program is that you just roll into any of those into the Penske dealership, and it's turn and burn, and you're just going to continue moving. So that should give you a major ease. Tire program. I actually want on one of his guys, his second load, man. He actually had a blowout, and literally under an hour, done, no questions, and my guy kept moving. So that's really impressive. And the driver didn't have to fight with an owner as to how much, where, go there. It's all already negotiated. It's taken care of. It enhances your relationship with that owner operator in the fact that you're really here to keep those wheels moving. That's what that's about. And so you have access to us as well. You have access to the ops team, to the safety team. And while you're making money, you get to learn this game of what it's going to look like to be an owner operator. And that's what we're here to. You just got to bring the questions. We have some guys that they do it and they just kind of like that, and that's their thing, company driver mentality, which is cool. Owner operator is not for everybody. Some guys just don't want the liability, which is fine. And some guys want to take the risk. Some guys want to educate themselves before they take the risk. Being exposed to the breakdowns and being exposed to the market trends and all of that. The experience is up to you. You really have to be able to be that guy that is going to be able to ask the questions, that is going to be able to be receptive. And so it is a sweet opportunity for that one person who wants to learn the ins and outs of this business. We're willing to share. So you just have to do your part. Guys, give us a call at 863-342-5171. If you are a company driver looking for a different type of opportunity to elevate your game, if you are that first-time owner-operator, but not necessarily sure if you're going to pull that trigger, you want a little bit more exposure to this industry and how it works, give us a call, 863-342-5171. We put you into one of those trucks. You're learning the game. And the beauty about it, once you decide, everything could be done under the same roof. You don't necessarily have to switch companies, right? Everybody thinks that. But again, this fleet owner has a few guys, and here we go. So that opportunity might just be for you. Guys, give us a call, 863-342-5171. Other than that, my people, have a very blessed day. Drive safe, get home to the families. Happy Turkey Day. And then remember, turn and burn, and we're back at it on Friday. All right, my people, be safe.